Hello and welcome back. Today we're putting this winch on this trailer. But first we need something to mount it to, so I bought this winch hitch mount. That will give us a good starting point to work off of. This is the BadLand's 12,000 pound winch mount, so it should be more than strong enough to do what I'm doing with it. The added benefit is this has the handles on it, so I don't have to leave it on the trailer all the time. I can take it off when I'm done with it. One of the first challenges that I encountered, this is a 3-inch lip on it, so I have to bridge that gap. But first I have to get this jack out of the way so I have a clean working space. Now I definitely want to give props to whoever welded this jack on, because whoever did it definitely did a good job. That jack was going nowhere. So now that we have a clean working space, we still have to bridge this 3-inch gap. It's taken me the better part of 2 years to figure that one out, because it has to be super strong and stand up 3 inches taller. Well, finally, I ended up buying a truck, and that had a rail system for a fifth wheel in it that we decided we didn't want. We were going to put a flip hitch in it. So I took the rail system out, and we're going to use that. Here you can see the rails that bolt to the frame of the truck. I have them set up here, pushed all the way forward up against the trailer as close as I could get them. That way I could weld the first cross member on as close as I can. Here you can see it cleaning up the tops of them, getting all the paint and rust off of it, so that way when I weld everything together it'll be a good strong weld. Won't have any paint or anything in there. Cleaning up all the sides and everything. Some spots were way more rusty than others, but that's fine. The grinder didn't care, it just ate through it. Here I'm using the wire welder just to tack everything together, so I can take it over to the big welder and get things welded together later. Clean it up with a wire brush real quick. Alright, so I got the first cross member welded on there, tacked on there I should say, but now I gotta take it off and cut these brackets down so I can get them to fit. I was just gonna leave it as one piece for strength, but the cross members were gonna be way too far apart, so I have to cut them down, make them a lot shorter, which is fine. It'll just take more welding, get everything strong again. Clean up all the sharp angles, sharp edges. So after getting this cross member welded on, these brackets cut down. This is the longest receiver tube that Harbor Freight had. It's 18 inches long. So I have to figure out where I'm going to put this second cross member in here. So here goes the best guesstimation with a tape measure. Put the bracket in there, try to figure out where everything's going to sit. Being that everything's at an angle, it's all sitting funny. So I just gotta trying to figure out the best place to weld everything and cut everything to make it as strong as possible. C-clamping these down to the side of the trailer worked out really well. Clean up the top so I can weld to them. Clean off the sharp burrs. Try to put everything back to where it was before you took everything back apart. Mark everything with a soapstone. Grind everything out, because you should have done that before, but I didn't, because that would make sense. This side cleaned up a lot better. It didn't have as much rust on it, I don't think. Measure everything for the 4th or 5th time. Put the receiver back on there. Try to remember where that was. Hey, and we finally get to tack things together. Clean everything up for final prep before we take it over to the big welder and get everything welded together properly. These didn't need a lot of work, but everything needed a little bit of a touch up just because, and to play a little safe. Alrighty, so now we have the grass covered workbench with the high heat stick welder doing its thing. So we're back from getting everything welded up. Everything still sits real good, so nothing got warped in the heat. Next we got to get these cut down to size. Brackets here, just cut it right there. Same on this side, both of these. Hopefully it goes okay. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Trying to cut these off with a cutoff wheel was a bit of an adventure. Never done this stuff before. It got spicy every now and again. Probably should have used a torch. I was trying to avoid having too much cleanup, but with the angles that this thing was cutting and little pieces here and there, probably would have been just as much cleanup when I was done with the torch anyways. So got these ends cut up, they're looking good. Need to take it back over and weld in here. I didn't want to do that until I could get easy access to them, both sides. But after I cut these off, I discovered that this would be perfect for in here. I was gonna weld the slab from this bracket in here. I'm just gonna put it on the inside and put it up like that. But that would work much better because I can just stitch what, or put a little tack under each of the four corners, and then when there's pressure on it, that'll put direct pressure on that bar down there, and that'll keep this from doing anything wild, unless the C channel down there does something wild. But you just never know until you put pressure on stuff. Do your best and hope for the best. I think the next step's going to be squaring this up, cutting this, moving it back, figuring out where everything's going to be, and then we're going to tack this on, and then we'll take it over and weld everything up. You know what, we're going to put that on first before we tack anything on, because I want to be able to clean up the bottom side of this and then weld it into these holes, and then I'll weld down the sides, and then we'll put this on. Alright, we got this all tacked on there. Everything seems to be holding up pretty good. So, flip it over. On the bottom of this, I put Sharpie marks where these go, and they seem to line up pretty good. So, once we get this tube welded on inside here, we'll get these eyeballed up, and we'll get these welded on too. Alright, let's run this over and get welding on it. I don't know how many welding sticks a project like this should take, but I feel like I'm using all of them. And we're back. These inside welds didn't turn out as pretty as I was hoping they would, but they're definitely holding more than the nothing that was in there before. Got this welded on nice underneath of it in the holes. Got these under pieces welded on. I didn't weld the inside of these because these are going to have down pressure on them. They should never have a pulling pressure on them. Alright, so now I'm going to get this put on. We'll figure out exactly where I need to clean this frame up at to tack it on. Then we got to figure out where we're going to put the jack over here and get that tacked on. Then hopefully today I'll get it all taken over to the big welder and we'll get it all finished up today. Got it sat on here all pretty. Gonna mark out where I need to grind. Probably still mark it out so I can just do it right now, or grind it off, clean it up so I can weld it right now. But I think I'm gonna take this off and clean the bottom side of this up That way I can get it painted, because I don't feel like trying to do that when it's on and then trying to lay underneath of it, trying to clean up or spray up under it, end up with paint all over myself when I can just do it now and make the job much easier. All right, we're set up here. Got the wire brush on it. Hopefully we can get in here and get a lot of this rust off. Got the spray paint sitting over there for it. Before I took it off, I got this all marked out. You can see I originally marked it, and you can see the older line here, new one. So it's moved a little bit back here. Marked the center out. This side over here, I'm not really happy with this corner up in here, but you can see it's moved quite a bit. It's fine. It'll still do its job. Got the back marked out here. So we'll get to cleaning it up and see how it turns out. Got that bad boy all painted up. Well, the underside. Came over here and painted the top of this, so it doesn't really matter. It's gonna probably burn most of it off anyways, but figured I wouldn't have to paint under that once it's on as much. But I got this polished up, so it's ready to weld. I cleaned up where the jack was. That paint's just bubbling away. It's not really that bad. It'll smooth out once it's dry. But I did the same over here and got this cleaned up, ready to go. So now we're gonna get this sat on here and somewhat leveled up and tacked on. This is going together so fast now. Got everything, all the measurements from the rail to the top are all the same. So we're gonna call that level. As long as the frame's level, that's level, I guess, right? So let's get this welded on, then we'll get the jack on. Well, I got the jack on, but I can't pick it up and have it swivel down because that would be way too convenient. So I'm gonna get picked up here, get the jack out, jack this up. Then we'll get the truck over here and hooked on, and we'll go over and get this all welded up properly. Well, we finally made it. Took me about an hour to get the hitch on, but you know, it is what it is. We gotta get this jack down. I don't think it's gonna be long enough. I'm gonna have to find something to put down under it, block the wheels up. But then we'll come in here, get this all welded together. When you say you need to chock the wheels, but then unhook it anyways. Good thing the chain was still hooked up. Let's go find something to chock the wheels now. Wheels are chocked, unhooked. Let's get welding. Well, we're done welding. I got it home, got a layer of paint on it. The foam got a little too hot, so it cut out. Yeah, probably about a quarter of the way through. So pretty much all I caught was welding this. It pretty much died out when I was trying to do this. I've never had that much problem with this welder. I mean, this just looks terrible. I'm hoping that caught something in there, but that was mostly stick. I mean, I was running off the same ground and everything, but then I came over here and this side did much better. They aren't pretty, but they should get the job done. I'm not gonna get to it tonight, but next I'm gonna get the winch onto the mount and get everything mounted up, make sure everything looks good. I'll probably go over some of these welds, clean them up and paint them again, but I'm staring down the barrel of a week of rain, so it won't be real soon. Sure, with that much rain and moisture and stuff, the rust in any of those spots that aren't good enough, they'll pop through, and I'll have to clean those up, but that's no big deal. At least I'll know where it's at. And we're back. It's only been 2 weeks, but hey, we finally made it back. This got a little bit rusty with the weather, so I'm just gonna take the wire wheel on the grinder and clean this up some. Then I bought some spray paint that should work better than the stuff I was using. We'll get it painted up, looking better. Hopefully it holds up better with the rest and stuff. And then we got some of the winch put together. I gotta get a wrench and tighten up some bolts, but it is what it is. I gotta buy a new bolt because I accidentally broke one of these off because they're not very strong. Probably just replace all of them just to be safe. But for now, we're just gonna get this painted up, looking better. Well, alrighty, I wasn't expecting it to come out that color. I mean, there's the lid. Now it does say that it's gonna be shiny, so I guess I wasn't expecting chrome shiny when I read shiny, but it is what it is. It'll be distracting. People will be walking by and they won't be like, wow, look how terrible those welds are. They'll be like, wow, look how bright that is. And if they're getting past the brightness of it, they should probably mind their own business anyways. We're gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna put this winch on here and we'll see how it looks. There it is, all done. Got the winch on there. Still have to put the battery box on. I'm gonna have to relocate it. I think I'm gonna put it down here maybe. Doesn't really fit good anywhere. Might fit good there. Might go there. We'll see. It's a project for another day. This winch needs a little bit more work. I gotta, like I said before, I gotta do the bolts on it because that one broke off. Gotta tighten those up, get this wired up, get the hook on the cable. This winch ended up just a hair higher than I wanted it to down here, but should be fine. This also ended up stronger than I figured I'd end up getting it, so should be all right. If you're still watching, I want to say thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.